Welcome back. You're watching Newsbreak with me, Sanket Upadhyay. You see, what is happening in Parliament is the passing of the Women's Reservation Bill. It happened in Lok Sabha yesterday. It's about to happen in the Rajya Sabha as well. But as the central government is getting a remarkable number of response and votes in favor of this Women's Reservation Bill, the government is getting that. You also have many members in the opposition who are raising the OBC factor, which means that while you go for women's reservation and whenever it is implemented, because obviously there is a timeline to it, right? It's not like it's happening in 2024. There'll be a delimitation first, then there will be the census first, and then after that, women's reservation. These are the provisions of this new law. While all of this is happening, the opposition has come together by asking just one thing. Why not reservation for OBC women also in this Women Reservation Bill? This is with a bid to focus on the larger issue where opposition has come together, that is a caste census to determine the number of other backward classes in this country. Can this resonate with the people? For that, I think we'll have to look at certain basics. What is this OBC factor in the country? So in the 80s, there was a Mandal Commission report according to which 52% of the population is from the OBC community. Then the National Sample Survey Organization, or the NSSO report of 2006 said that the population is somewhere around 41%. Both these reports seem to suggest that the population of the OBCs in this country is sizable, definitely above 40%. We do not have our census data representing any of this, because even in the 2011 census, this data was not released. So we do not know. And that is the primary demand of the opposition, that you have caste census so that we know in actual terms what is the population of the OBCs, because according to that you can formulate policies and you can have reservation and all those things. So that's the pitch on which the opposition has come together. Now each party tries to dabble with OBC politics. So while the opposition is united in this demand that it be implemented in Women's Reservation Bill, the Bharatiya Janata Party itself has made a lot of noise about representing the OBC community properly. Take a look at this graphic, for instance. The BJP says that there are 27 ministers in the Union Cabinet under Prime Minister Modi who are from the OBC community. 85 MPs out of a total of 301 BJP MPs in the Lok Sabha are from the OBC community. 365 MLAs of a total of 1,358 BJP MLAs across states are from the OBC community, and 65 MLCs, that is Member of Legislative Councils, out of a total of 163 BJP MLCs across states are from the OBC. Now, what is the OBC area of influence? We do not know their exact percentage of population or division because there is no census, but Mandal Commission as well as the NSSO data gives us an idea of their influence. So OBC influence across states in terms of percentage of household in rural areas in Tamil Nadu is very high, 67.7%. In Bihar, 58.1%. In Telangana, it's 57.4%. In Uttar Pradesh, it is 56.3%. In Kerala, about 55%. Karnataka, 50%. Chhattisgarh, 51%. So these are the states where the OBC across states and the percentage of them in households in rural areas is above 50%. The graphics that you see on your screen right now, Rajasthan, Andhra, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are states where their population is between 40 to 50%. That is around 42, 45, 46, 45.8. Then in states like Jharkhand, Maharashtra and Odisha, and Haryana, it is between 30 and 40%. And then of course Assam, West Bengal and Punjab, where it is in Assam it is 28.7%, in West Bengal 18.1%, and in Punjab it is 14.1%. The NSSO survey of 2021 says that the all India average is 44.4%. So you have an idea, an estimate that in rural areas, what is the population of the OBC? But again, because in this country we do not have a census which specifically focuses on OBC population, we do not know for sure. At least we don't have a national picture. Now, how does the OBC vote over the years? So that data on your screen right now. In 1999, 23% of their vote went to the BJP, 24% to the Congress. In 2004, it remained much the same. In 2009, 22% for the BJP and 24% for the Congress. You know that in 2004 and 2009, we had a UPA government. But then look how things dramatically changed in 2014 and 2019, where 34% of the OBCs chose the BJP in 2014, only 15% for the Congress. The Congress never had a dip in 2019, but look at that gain by the BJP. This is CSDS Lokniti data, which says that the BJP managed a record 44% of the OBC vote. And that is how you learn that this community as a vote bank is so significant and it's so important, which is why the opposition's sales pitch for 2024 is a caste census. And now, while the government wants to bring in or is bringing in a women's reservation bill, the opposition seems united over getting in reservation for OBC women as well in women reservation. Let's quickly listen in to what the reactions were through the course of the day, specifically on this subject.
भारत में, आजाद भारत में ओबीसी की बात करते हैं, ओबीसी की बात करते हैं। भारत को पहला ओबीसी प्रधानमंत्री भारतीय जनता पार्टी एनडीए ने दिया, यह भी हमको ध्यान रखना। ये ओबीसी की बात करते हैं। मैं कांग्रेस की बात कर रहा हूं। कांग्रेस और भैया मैं कांग्रेस की बात, कांग्रेस। दूसरा आज 27 मंत्री ओबीसी के हैं, 27 मंत्री। और हमारे एमपीस, मैं सर कांग्रेस की बात कर रहा हूं, उनकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूं। देवेगौड़ा जी हमारे हैं। ओबीसी, मैं कांग्रेस की बात कर रहा हूं। कांग्रेस, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट जनता दल, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कांग्रेस। दैट फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज बीन गिवन बाय एनडीए ओबीसी, दैट इज नरेंद्र मोदी बाय एनडीए, नेवर कांग्रेस हैज गिवन। संविधान राइट्स की बात करता है, अधिकार की। हमारी वोकैबुलरी को क्या होता जा रहा है? अधिकार दया की श्रेणी में नहीं आएगा, लेकिन पूरा का पूरा जो टेक्सचर देखता हूं वो दया की श्रेणी में बात होती है। अधिकारों की बात कभी दया से नहीं होगी। अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं इस बिल के माध्यम से? 84 और 47 के अंदर 1/3 कर रहे हैं। क्या यह अन्याय नहीं है? एग्जिस्टिंग सीट्स में नहीं, जो 33% आ रहा है उसके अंदर, जिसका आंकड़ा अभी के हिसाब से 136 सीट बैठता है, उसमें एससी, एसटी और ओबीसी की व्यवस्था हो।
मेरे साथ फारूक अब्दुल्ला हैं। महिला आरक्षण बिल पर जो चर्चा हुई, लोकसभा में पारित हो चुका है, राज्यसभा में बहुत लंबी चर्चा चल रही है। आरक्षण के अंदर आरक्षण का एक मसला उठा है, कोटा के अंदर कोटा होना चाहिए। आप इस राजनीतिक बहस को कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, कोई भी बाहर नहीं रहना चाहिए, ओबीसीज को भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन देनी चाहिए। उसी पे मामला अटक गया है और हमें उम्मीद है कि जब सेंसस हो जाएगा, सेंसस में सब बाहर आ जाएगा क्या है, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि उसको भी लाया जाएगा और उनको भी जो है रिजर्वेशन दी जाएगी, क्योंकि वो भी इस वतन के लोग हैं। और जब तक वो भी इसमें शामिल नहीं होंगे तो कैसे हम लोग इसको मजबूत कर सकते हैं। तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि जो भी हुकूमत आगे आएगी वो इसकी तरफ ध्यान देगी और जो कमियां रह गई हैं उनको पूरा करेगी।
मुस्लिम महिलाओं को भी आरक्षण का सुविधा मिलना चाहिए। कहा गया कि देश में उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन बहुत कम है।
22 करोड़ से ज्यादा मुसलमान हैं, तो औरतें भी तो 50% होगी उसमें, तो इसलिए उनको भी तो हक है कि वो भी अपना योगदान दें इस वतन को मजबूत करने के लिए। जरूरी है।
तो मुस्लिम महिलाओं के लिए भी आरक्षण का प्रावधान होना चाहिए,
हर एक के लिए होना चाहिए। किसी को बाहर रखने से आप मुल्क को मजबूत नहीं कर सकते। मुल्क को मजबूत करना है तो सबने करना है।
हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया।
All right, Professor Geeta Bhatt as well as Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalists, are joining us. Thank you very much. Neerja Chaudhary, I want to begin with you first. First of all, let's talk about politics. You see, if and these are the views of certain political analysts, that 9.5 years after its existence in government, the Modi government thinks of bringing in this law towards the fag end of its second term, and that too with provisions that it may be implemented after a delimitation and the census exercise. So obviously it's not meant for 2024. Some political analysts feel the idea was to expose the fault lines with the opposition. But what happened in the opposition is that they got united on the issue of OBC. So my first question to you is, whose narrative seems to be winning here?
Look, if the goal was only to highlight the fault lines within the opposition and the India bloc of the alliance, they also ran the risk of, while wanting consolidation of women voters behind them, they ran the risk of disappointment amongst women, which is also happening. If you compare the excitement on day one, that the bill is coming, that cabinet will pass it, 2-3 days later, that this is going to happen maybe 2029, and if the delimitation exercise takes longer, it may even spill over to 2034. That's the kind of thing. And as I was pointing out, it's like saying, I will open Jan Dhan accounts for you, but I will do it in 2029. Or I'll give you subsidized gas cylinders, but in 2029. There's bound to be some disappointment when you were expecting that finally after 27 years, this is going to go through. But coming to the OBC part, which is a very important factor. Now, last time also, in 2010, when it was passed in the Rajya Sabha, and Sonia Gandhi pushed it, but they got cold feet because Lalu Yadav, Mulayam Singh Yadav, LJP of Ramvilas Paswan, they raised objections and said there should be quota within a quota, otherwise they will not support it. Now, I say this very simply to you. There is reservation for SC/STs in parliament and legislative assemblies. And quota for women is given within that quota. 1/3 will be reserved within that quota for SC/ST. There is no quota for OBCs in parliament or in state assemblies. There is quota for OBCs in government jobs and in educational institutions. Now, if you build in a quota for women, OBC women specifically, within that quota, there is a reserved 1/3 seats for women. If you build in that quota for OBC women, tomorrow the OBC men will raise this demand. It will be a corollary of the decision that there should be reservation for OBCs in parliament and state assemblies, just as there is reservation for the SC/STs. It's a natural follow-on. And where will you stop that process? There'll be others who will say it should be, minorities will say it should be done for us.
Oh, well, that statement has already been made by Mr. Farooq Abdullah. He did say it. So obviously, this will have some sort of a cascading effect as far as reservation or providing reservation is concerned. Professor Geeta Bhatt.
No, I am for affirmative action.
Yeah.
But remember that the Mandal decision by Vishwanath Pratap saying to give job reservations to only 44,000 OBCs in government jobs. It only was 44,000. What a bawal it created in the country, leading to immolation, and it took a whole year and a half to bring down the temperature. Yeah. So these things have to be thought through very, very carefully. Correct. They cannot be used, as slogans and rhetoric for political gain.
Professor Bhatt, your views, particularly about this this OBC reservation demand and this being used as some sort of a nehle pe dehla by the opposition. What do you have to say?
Well, Sanketji, it has taken almost 27 years for the Women Reservation Bill to see the light of the day. And
yet we'll have to
the
wait.
Opposition political parties are trying their best to, try to, in a way, create certain fault lines and trying to create obstacles so that this bill is not, in a way, trying to create doubts over it. You see, you at least let the bill. It has taken so long. Earlier also there were reservations. There were similar kind of reservations. And of course there were very, a misogynistic mindset also, which we saw among the political leadership inside the parliament when in 2010 this bill was passed in Rajya Sabha and was to be brought in Lok Sabha, but that did not happen. Now, you see, when it comes to giving representation to OBCs, it is something which definitely needs to be addressed. No one is denying that. But how the opposition political parties are trying to put it forward is that it needs, if you want to do it, then you should bring it right now in 2024. Sanketji, everyone knows that it is a very, very exhaustive process administratively to get into deciding of these seats when there is not even a year left to go for general elections. And the opposition parties are also very clear about it. They also understand it. But now this kind of, these emotive issues are being brought up to create doubt that the intention of bringing this bill is not honest, which is very untrue. It is important that this bill must get passed so that in the coming times, whatever provisions have to be introduced later, when the OBC provision is constitutionally not present at right now in the parliament, then how is it going to be possible to bring it along, to introduce it along in the Women Reservation? So it is important that we need to address it. Yes, there is a proposal that how it is to be done. And it is not that the parliament is going to be there tomorrow. There will be member of parliament who are going to it. And each one who is there in the public life, they have to go back to the masses and address them if these issues are not addressed in the future.
Sure. All right.
So it is important that, right.
Yeah.
So what I mean to say is that it is very important that maybe the bill will be passed, but this will definitely pose a question mark on the intention of the opposition parties, that how serious they were in actually getting this bill passed in the parliament.
Okay. Professor Bhatt as well as Neerja Chaudhary, many thanks for joining us. Now see, two of the preconditions here for Women's Reservation Bill to see the light of the day, apart from the fact that it has to clear the Rajya Sabha today, then in the President's assent, which these are all mere formalities, is number one, a census, and number two, delimitation. So what exactly is that delimitation math? My colleague Nayantara with the latest details.
Well, there's been a lot of talk of delimitation in the conversation surrounding the Women's Reservation Bill. How the number of seats will change, what states will be impacted, and whether there'll be a significant change in the number of seats allocated in the north states versus the south states. So here we've tried to make projections based on how the Lok Sabha numbers will change post-delimitation in 2026. So first, let's talk about the methodology. Here we've taken the Health Ministry's population projection to calculate how many Lok Sabha seats will be added after delimitation. But first, let's look at the timeline of delimitation first. So, according to the 91st Amendment of the Constitution, which happened in 2022, delimitation can only happen in 2026, and only then will Lok Sabha seats be increased. So this is why we've used population projections for 2026, and according to those projections, India's population in 2026 will be around 142 crore people. Now with the current population, if we divide it by the current 543 seats, then we'll have 26 lakh people per Lok Sabha seat. But this ratio, according to the 2001 census, was 18 lakh people per Lok Sabha seat. So there we have an increase of 38.5% between the populations of 2001 and 2026. So when this increase in population is seen in terms of seats, that would mean an increase of 210 seats. So we'll go from our current 543 seats plus those 210 extra seats, which makes 753 Lok Sabha seats in 2026. Let's also note that there has been no change in the number of Lok Sabha seats in the last 50 years, which means since 1977. So how will this increase translate in different parts of the country? First, let's look at the southern states, and let's remember political leaders from the south like DMK MP Kanimuri also raised the concern that delimitation would reduce south seats in the Lok Sabha. So let's take a look. Karnataka, let's start with Karnataka. Karnataka currently has 28 seats. After delimitation, it will have 36 seats. So that's 8 more seats. Kerala, on the other hand, currently has 20 seats, but after delimitation, it will have 19. And perhaps, that could be because of Kerala's successful family planning policies. Of course, the population's gone down. So that's a deduction of 1 seat. Telangana currently has 17 seats. After delimitation, it will have 20. So that's 3 more seats. Andhra Pradesh currently has 25 seats. After delimitation, it will have 28. So that's again 3 more seats. Tamil Nadu currently has 39 seats. After delimitation, it will have 41. So again, that's an increase of 2 seats. Now let's see what's happening in the big North Indian states. Uttar Pradesh currently has the maximum seats in the Lok Sabha. It's 80 seats. After delimitation, it will have a whopping 128 seats. So that's 48 more seats in 2026. Bihar currently has 40 seats. After delimitation, it will have 70, so that's 30 more seats. Madhya Pradesh currently has 29. After delimitation, it will have 47, so that's 18 more seats for that state. Maharashtra currently has 48 seats. After delimitation, it will have 68, so that's 20 more seats. Rajasthan has 25 seats. In 2026, it will have 44, so that's 19 more seats. And finally, Gujarat at 26 seats currently, which will go up to 39 seats. That's 13 more seats after delimitation. Among other big states, West Bengal will also see a large jump of 11 seats from the current 42 to 53 seats in 2026. Now let's look at the overall change in the number of seats across the country. So here you can see the map. You've got number of seats here as per the current Lok Sabha breakup. That's 543 seats. And let's go to the second map now, where we can see the increase in each state. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Kerala is the only state that's actually going to see deduction in seats from 20 to 19. Most other states are going to change. Himachal Pradesh, though, on the other hand, is going to stay the same with 4 seats. But really, the big takeaway here is at 128 on your screens, that huge number, Uttar Pradesh, which is going to have a massive jump from 80 seats to 128 seats.
Fascinating details there in that presentation that Nayanthara made. Of course, these are all projections. The entire exercise of delimitation could be a little different, so these numbers could in fact change.